chapter clicked in to College Volleyball Weekly on Viral Volley Media. Now here's your host, Rob on mic.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to College Volleyball Weekly. I'm going to guess somewhere between episode 275 and 279. So there's been a lot of things happening, but truly a great honor, and you'll understand why when I say the very final sentence of our intro. Cindy Miller of Hawaii, representing the Big West. Marilu Pally of Cal, representing the new MPSF that'll be growing. And Kylie Wickley, well, she's going to be graduating, but MPSF next year, if she would have been there, but this year it's the big, no, wait, CCSA. CCSA, and we are now, was it knee deep into the postseason after postseason tournaments. I wanted the ladies to share their experiences at each of their conference tournaments for the automatic berth, with the exception of Kylie, because they actually had to rely on an at-large with only 4 teams in their conference. We'll talk about that more. But since we haven't seen Marilu on screen with everyone, let's let Marilu go first.
Yeah, so the MPSF last weekend was just a bunch of stacked teams. I mean, we saw USC kind of rise up and upset UCLA. Is that right? Yeah. And
That's right. Yeah.
it was a great duel overall. Like, we know that USC has a reputation of just, I don't know, being playoff Jimmy. I don't know if you guys know who Jimmy is on the Golden State Warriors, but he like pops off whenever it's like playoff time. So I think they just have a reputation to rise to the occasion when it really like gets down to these pressure situations. And yeah, we saw USC kind of rise up to the occasion during that tournament, but obviously Stanford took the win. They've been so good and so consistent all year, and I think, yeah, they've got a huge shot at the Natty this year. So everyone is kind of head to head. We almost also beat USC. Like, it was a great game, and every program is here to fight. So I'm excited for what's to come.
It's a crazy MPSF tournament, first time held ever, and it was at right up the way from my home here in Newport Beach at Newland Street. So 5 courts running, playing to decision, and it was high action on every one. You could go to any court and you can just feel the energy was high. Second day, the level kicked up at least 5, 6 more levels as teams really started really competing, and that's where we saw the big matches, the upset of UCLA. I mean, I think everyone was kind of, oh, UCLA is going to be it.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Dude, I said last week, I literally called it that Stanford was going to win, and I said that USC was going to get their act together. I literally called that.
She did.
Come on. I always call these things. I should bet who's going to win the NCAA Natties. I can bet now because I'm out.
Don't bet on college sports, Sydney.
I can bet now because my season's over.
Rob, clear that out of here so Sydney doesn't get in trouble with compliance.
Cut that.
Well, she's going to be in like an FBI most wanted list or something. Marilu, let me ask you this: who were they named an all tournament team, and it was kind of late. Like they just posted it yesterday. But who in your eyes really stuck out as far as play that you got to see?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't want to be like, I don't know, hooting for my team, but I would say Portia and Emma really stepped it up, and they had a tough loss against GCU early on in the tournament. And then from then on, they leveled up in so many different aspects, like their chemistry, volleyball wise, and even just playing with the wind and all the other variables. Like, they really transformed into a really, really, really solid ones that are very reliable and that are going to kick ass for sure.
Well, that I was obviously their court was right in front of my broadcast position there, but it's interesting. Inez Pere and oh gosh, was it Farrow? It was
Mhm.
their Audrey Farrow were
Mhm.
at the ones for GCU, and I'd never seen Emma and Portia that out of sync before. Like you could tell there's something in the air. They just were kind of funky at the start of that duel. And I think that GCU caught them at the right time because they really picked it up after that. But it just was one of those wonky losses, so to speak.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And I feel like every good team is going to have one of those games, but they really bounced back and performed like lights out. So, yeah.
yeah. Well, let's open it up to Sydney and Kylie. Thoughts on the MPSF, the results, and anything that caught your attention. Um, let's go with Kylie.
What I'll talk about later is about the bracket, but I was kind of shocked about the results of that and how it kind of translated to the NCAA bracket. But I honestly was super surprised that Stanford won. I think that's really big for them. Out of like such a heavy tournament, and I'm interested for next week, for this weekend.
Well, I know, but if you guys are seeing on your screen, the two angles are be going at each other here. So be heads on come opening round on Friday. Sydney, I know you got something on tap there. Is there something in the hopper? There's always something in there.
I kind of agree with Kylie. I feel like I was expecting Stanford to win. Like I've been saying that I think that they should be higher than third, like that ranking going into conference. I definitely think they should be ranked higher in the NCAA bracket also. But I mean, I'm super interested to see what they're gonna do in the tournament. And then again, like that's a really hard conference. So I feel like any duel kind of could have gone either way. And like it's a good, I guess you could call it a warm up for NCAAs because like you're gonna see all those teams at NCAs.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because the all tournament team wasn't named until yesterday, and obviously dropped some of the names. Emma and Portia were on that. From SC, Delaney Carl and Delaney Carl and Ella Larkin went 4-1. Ashley Pater and Kennedy Coakley were 3-1 for SC. They're on that team. Maggie Boyd and Sally Perez, they're 3-0. I mean, these will all be names we'll be seeing in Gulf Shores. So my takeaway there is we've all been following Stanford. They've been a program on the rise. I mean, a lot like those, everyone talks about USC, UCLA, but in that what used to be the Pac-12, in the back there were Cal and Stanford really beginning to press that top and get some upsets. I mean, SC last year at the Queens tournament, I mean, pulled off some pretty big upsets as well. So not a shocker. And I guess we'll talk bracket later, but there was like really solid play to end the MPSF. And what's crazy is next year it goes to 11 teams with Texas, Florida State, LSU, and South Carolina moving into that conference. So you can easily award, there'll be a conference winner, but then you have to throw all the at-larges in that conference.
Can't say I'm jealous of you guys for being in that bracket.
I mean, it's like the Pac-12 even worse.
Yeah.
Like Pac-12 is crazy to crack, and then this is like you add in even more craziness.
Yeah.
So
I just got a shout out CVW contributor. That'd be Kelly Bellardi and Charbel, the MPSF pair of the week or MVP of that tournament. So I was going to celebrate. Sorry, Marilu. I know it's Stanford, but she's a contributor to the show.
Yeah. Well earned. Well earned.
Well, let's go over to Kylie because the last we had the first ever MPSF tournament to the last ever CCSA tournament, which was Florida State, LSU, Texas, and South Carolina. So talk about the conference tournament for you, Kylie, and the Texas Longhorns.
well, it was a super fun conference tournament. I feel like coming from Arizona State when like the Pac-12, like it was such a huge production and there were so many teams all the time. It was very different because there were only 4 teams. And it was just overall really well like produced for being so small, and there was a lot of really good volleyball um across the board. Like South Carolina was coming close to beating LSU. LSU and FSU had tough battles, and so did we versus FSU. And yeah.
How did Texas perform throughout that tournament? Were they all 3-0s?
Yes.
So Stein's got the
How
girls.
they were.
It's all right. It's results, so you can talk about it.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of interesting because I don't know how everyone else's conference worked, but for us, it was like we had sixes play and also twos and fours.
Sixes during the tournament?
Yeah. Twos, fours, and
Interesting.
sixes started every single time, and then it was 1-3-5, like how it is like in a normal season. But it's weird that that was conference like that. But it kind of was interesting because in the Pac-12 it would be like either 2 and 4 would start or 3 and 5, and then the ones would start after the conclusion of like a first set. And so it like took the pressure off of each of the teams from like having to win every time. And so that was kind of just an interesting format, but our twos and fours performed super well, and there was a lot of really tight battles, but um we cheered really hard for them.
All right, let's open it up. Sydney or Mary Lou, anything on the CCSA tournament or any of the teams involved?
I personally was, again, not really surprised that Texas won. I feel like it could have honestly been FSU, LSU, Texas, but I feel like because Texas is such a new program, I feel like they just are a little bit hungrier. So I feel like, I don't know. And also, like, Stein's been in that moment so many times. I just feel like he knows what to say and like how to line up his players and stuff. So I'm happy for Kylie and Texas. I feel like that's a big win for their program.
Well, it's funny. We lost Mary Lou, and apparently she's having computer problems also. Her computer crashed, so we had to start a GoFundMe for Mary Lou. Let's just message her. Cell phone. We'll get her on cell phone. Texas has been good all year. I've been fortunate, blessed enough to see every single one of their home duels this year. So on top of seeing them come west for a few. So but Katie Halfman and Emma Grace Robertson, the ABCA pair of the week, because of their performance this last weekend. So I mean, so that's the first, I believe that's the first national pair of the week for your program then?
Yes, it is. I feel like they really deserved it. That's biased obviously because they're my teammates, but they had really tough battles against really good teams, and just like really stuck together.
Well, this is the thing. It's like first year program ranked as high as 7th, and obviously didn't change from last week because that was what we were chatting about before he jumped on. But um, who's really been performing for the Longhorns in the clutch there?
Our twos, threes, and fours have consistently been getting it done all season. They've kind of been our like consistent place.
So that's Chloe Charles, Ava Quivnin, and then on the threes, unless
They're-
stop changing around.
no, Ava and Chloe are ones.
I'm sorry, the two. So there we
Twos,
go. I got it
Katie
reversed.
and Emma Grace. Threes is Madison Parmalee and Goddins Oranchikova. And then fours is Noah and Macy.
There we go. I should know this, huh? I just look at the score sheets every now. Now the other teams, like, so apparently, not apparently, it's been reported that Florida State head coach Brooke Niles now has become the winningest coach in beach volleyball with this last weekend's wins. So, Florida State, can they be a threat in the tournament? Well, I guess we'll talk about bracket once Marilu comes on.
Wait, but
So
Sydney hasn't talked about.
I know that's right. That's why I didn't want to jump too forward, but we were getting Marilu back, so I wanted to get her on the
Right.
screen.
Yes, I just changed locations. The Wi-Fi crashed.
No worries at all. Well, we are talking about the CCSA tournament and Texas and Florida State. But here's the question I really want to ask. So LSU gets one of the at-larges, so does Florida State. LSU, how did the team look? They're normally a postseason team. Were they battling in those duels? And because there's some of them really young, it's one of the youngest LSU teams that I can recall. But what do you remember most about this last weekend and how they performed, Kylie?
About Florida State?
LSU. Did I say LSU or I meant LSU?
You said
Uh, I feel like they had a lot of pressure on themselves this past weekend because it was at their home courts and a lot of their fans were there. And so I feel like at some points they kind of had their backs up against the wall, which is really unlike them, I feel like, in the postseason. So I feel like maybe it'll be different in Gulf Shores, maybe it won't, but we'll see.
Anyone else want to add in anything on the CCSA tournament? All good. I just think they're teams that can come out of nowhere on both Florida State and LSU, particularly their ones pairs, Parker Bracken, and oh my gosh, I forgot her partner's name. I've got so many names in my head right now. They tap in the L. Evers and Chatelier at the twos. They got moved up from the threes, and they've always been super
They split
competitive.
their pairs, actually.
They switched again, huh?
Yeah.
But they went to the threes. So
Chatelier at the twos, and Julia Sprecher and Ella Evers are at the threes.
wow, Russell's switching that around. Interesting. Well, you have to lock those lineups in for NCAAs. So definitely worth watching and see what they do for the championship tournament. That brings us to the Big West in Sydney. Tell us from your side what happened in the Big West.
what didn't happen? Long Beach upset Cal Poly again, year 2. That just has to sting because personally, if I was Cal Poly, I'd be like, bro, 2 years in a row is crazy. Like last year was in the semis and this year is in the finals. I'm like, that sucks. But basically, I mean, lots of good volleyball. All the teams were for sure pushing. I feel like Cal Poly had a pretty easy first day and even like pretty easy second day until their match against Long Beach because they were ranked 1 in the tournament. And then honestly, Long Beach also, like both of those teams handled business like with the teams that maybe were ranked lower. So I was kind of interested to see them match up against each other because I feel like for some reason Cal Poly, like I don't know if it's like a mental thing or something, but I just feel like they never play as good against Long Beach. Like, or Long Beach has just like figured them out or something in between. Like, since Laguna, I feel like Long Beach kind of just got it down. Like, I don't know. I just like watching it, I'm like, interesting. Like, it's so interesting because they didn't even need Malia and Taylor's point to win. They won on 3 other courts. So,
That's right. Looking at that, like, wow.
yeah. So, I don't know. I think Skylar and Natalie at their 4s is like an automatic dub. I played them. I'm like, bro, come on. What is this? Like literally they like
That
their
force
scores,
is crazy.
yeah. Their scores were 14, 21-11, 21-16 in the championship against Ella Connor and Mad Dog. So I don't know. I feel like he could potentially move them back up to 3s. I think that they even have potential to be the 2s team. So I don't know. I'll be interested to see where their coach ends up putting them for NCAs.
I
Yeah.
feel like it's a secure win at the fours, though.
I know, but like it could also low-key be a secure win at the threes. Like they're good. Like they don't make errors. And dude, Natalie has a top spin serve
Mhm.
and it just is so fast. You can't even like if it just falls to the ground, you can't even do anything. Like I can't even explain it to you guys. I wish I could just clip you the film. I'm like, okay, you can have the ball, Natalie. Good job. She's a left.
Yeah, I played her last year
Yeah.
at Gulf Shores, and she probably aced me a total of over 5 times. It was insane.
Yeah.
So
She
you're
aced me
referring
down
to
the
Natalie
middle.
Glenn.
And then the middle
Yeah,
wasn't
Natalie
good enough,
Glenn.
so then she aced me on my sideline. I was like, okay.
Yeah, she's got a weapon. She's got a weapon of a
Timeout.
serve. Yeah.
She's working the bigs. That's why.
Yeah.
No, she's humble though. That's why I like her because she's humble. Like she's really good, but she like isn't not that anyone on Long Beach at all is obnoxious, but like I just like when she wins, I'm like, okay, you deserve to win. It's okay.
She flies. She's got a wicked arm
That's
swing and she
It's
flies.
because she has that indoor style playing. Like she
Mhm.
just hammer the ball. Like, bro,
Mhm.
he hammers.
All right. Well, I wanted to add in there, you did bring up that they didn't need Malia and Taylor's point, which is crazy. But the dual clinching win was the shocker to me. Because usually Lindsay Sparks and Quinn Perry are the queens of clutch. I would have expected that to go 2-2 and then come down to the ones court. But I mean, I guess it's your fellow San Diegan, Megan Widener, and partner Demi Wagner, freshman, ended up taking that 15-12 in the third set.
I was
So,
so happy for her. Literally, she's had like just a really like not hard, but like long like experience of volleyball, like her 4 years. So that's literally I think like top moment of how to end your senior year, like on your court, you win Big West. Like that is so lit. Like, oh my God. I was so happy for her.
all right. Any thoughts from the Big West from our other panelists here, Kylie or Marilu? All
Not
good.
really. I guess I was a bit, I mean, Long Beach and Cal Poly are both such good teams, but because Cal Poly started off season so strong and they were supposed to win, I guess I was kind of surprised at the outcome. But yeah, no, yeah. I I don't know if surprise is the right word because I was shocked, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, like I could like it was in their scope, it was in their realm to win, you know, it wasn't like a huge, like, oh, they never had a shot at beating them kind of thing, you know?
Well, what's scary about Cal Poly is so they did get upset last year, got the at large, and they placed highest ever in the tournament in program history at third.
I'm telling
So
you,
that
it's just Long Beach. For some reason, they like, I don't know. Like, I think it must be a Big West thing because they slay in NCAs. So I don't know.
well, we're done with the conference tournaments you guys are involved in. That meant the selection show. Do you guys get a chance to watch it live? Oh, go ahead, Kylie.
Talk about Big 12 championships. Because
Oh, okay. Yes.
crazy. The ones at ASU beat Danny and Tanya in 2. And then
What?
it came down to the threes court, or the twos court, 28-26 third set for TCU to win.
That
That
was
was
a champion.
Arizona State's not even in the
Yeah,
tournament.
that's crazy that they're not in the
We
tournament.
were watching that live and it was insane. Like we were on the bus on the way back to Berkeley and we had it. Someone was holding up their laptop and our whole team was crowded around the computer because it was just a third set, like stakes were so high and you could tell the pressure was insane. It's just like one of those moments where I don't know, like I mean, it was like their ticket to NCAAs, so that could have been huge. And I feel like kind of everyone was kind of rooting for the underdog, but at the same time, at least our team was like, I hope TCU wins because we obviously got the at-large. So yeah.
Wow. I didn't even think about that because Big 12 is another 14 conference and they're relying on the at large. So I don't know. It's Arizona State, TCU, Utah, and who was that fourth team? Well, because it's not showing all the teams that have played, but unfortunately, this is the other news. Utah announced today they're dropping their beach volleyball program. So that was the last match that Utah will be playing. But back to Arizona State, they had been a really good team, Kylie's former team. A lot of connections on that team, and we know they can battle. They've been right around 12-ish and higher during the season, but that 3-2, I had no idea. That was not, I just saw they won. TCU won, but I didn't realize it's that dramatic fashion. Where was that on TV?
It
So-
was back, all right.
So that's interesting that, well, Tanya had only been back for 2 matches last week, and she actually was our episode last week for College Volleyball Weekly. So hopefully I didn't jinx her on that one. She said she's gonna be back for the full weekend. So interesting. So let's jump over to the bracket then. Unless we have anything else to say about Big 12, TCU ends up going in as the number 2 seed from the tournament. But were you all watching the selection show?
In my bed. Yeah.
With your teams, I saw Cal's post.
Not me.
You guys were all in some conference center or something the next morning, I believe.
Mhm.
So what say you about the brackets? I know that, I've already said it. Kylie and Marilu face each other and in the first round. While, 2 of us on the screen don't get to go because one, it got moved from Huntington Beach back to Gulf Shores on my case. And Sydney, she gets to be an analyst for this one. So
Oh.
what do you guys think of the bracket then? I mean, if you're a competing athlete, you're looking at this bracket, what do you see here? Anything stick out for you guys?
I
Oh yeah, you go. Yep, you go first.
think that it's pretty interesting because it's almost like conference tournaments didn't happen. All the rankings kind of stay the same. Stanford coming in at 3 after winning NPSF, I think is a little bit of a snub at them. SC still at 5-2, UCLA hanging on to that 1 spot, and then for us, I think LSU over Arizona State is a little bit controversial.
There you go. Bring controversy into it, Kylie. Oh boy. Marilu, with thoughts on the bracket?
I guess one of the first things I kind of noticed is that UCLA and USC are kind of on the same side of the bracket. And I don't know in how long that hasn't been the case in I don't know how many years, because for as long as I remember, it's been UCLA or USC in the finals. But it's going to be really interesting because this year we're not going to see that face off.
Yeah. Well, that part of the bracket is going to be interesting because it's going to be Battle of LA if both the LA teams advance. Because SC faces off against North Florida, and then LMU on the other side of the bracket, well, in their half of the bracket, faces FAU. And if everything works accordingly, they've seen each other a bunch of times this season already. So, there may not be a USC UCLA matchup in that semi on that top half of the bracket. So, and then you on the top half where UCLA is at, Chattanooga, Sandy Mox come in. And I'm sorry, I'm going to pick UCLA on that one. But Florida State, Long Beach State, that's the wild card match for me right there. Good coaching, Florida State, young athletes, and then Long Beach State is just hungry, and they obviously can play big. So, good point. Sydney, anything to add?
I was also gonna say that I thought it was so interesting that USC and UCLA are on the same side of the bracket, like same points. Is that I don't remember the last time ever that they were on the same bracket and not able to both make it to the finals. I don't know. Honestly, I'm really excited to see how it all plays out. Kind of similar to what Kylie said, I was surprised about how the seeds went in. Like, I don't know. It's hard to forget the whole season, but it's also like, okay, then why do we do conferences a little bit? I think it's crazy that ASU didn't make it. I think that was crazy. That was the thing that surprised me the most. Like I was talking to Kendall after and she was like, yeah, we lost TCU, like we're probably not gonna make it now. And like I was so surprised. I was like, what? You're definitely making, like I was like, no shot that they were making it. And then they didn't make it. And I was like, wow, that's really surprising to me. So I don't know. I guess I'm curious to see what LSU does because that's kind of who took their spot. A little bit of LSU and North Florida, yeah. Did they win their conference or were they at large bid?
North Florida did, yes.
They did win their conference?
That's it. Yep.
Okay, so then it was, yeah, LSU that took their spot. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like one of the matches I'm most excited to watch is the Georgia State TCU one. Because in 2022, Georgia State upset them and it was a huge thing. And so I'm interested to see if they could do it again.
No Ferrari
Yep.
twins.
True.
You know, it's interesting. You're talking about the controversy of LSU and ASU. Like, so I obviously follow men's, and when you look at the tournament, you're looking at KPI, RPI, strength of schedule. You don't have that for beach volleyball. You have truevolley.com. I just pulled it up, and ASU is just below LSU in the true volley rankings because they average out the wins at the pairs and you get a score. It's math beyond my knowledge. I think Marilu can do it because she's really smart. But you are a mathematics major, is that correct? I
Yes,
remember
I am.
applied
Yes.
mathematics.
Woo!
We'll have her calculate real time and then do it for us. But here's the difference. 0.05 separated them on the true volley ranking.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, that one extra point at one of the pairs could have been the difference maker for ASU.
Oh my gosh. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what was used because I'm trying to think of like I don't recall any other metrics that are mentioned in beach volleyball to determine at large or the ranking system. So
They like especially when they're deciding everything, they look at like big wins, like upsets and stuff, and also like head to head because LSU did beat ASU like a month ago.
yeah, yep. There's a first time participant this year too, Boise State.
I'm excited to see them because I don't know if you guys have played them, but they're a pretty sharp team and they come pretty close to a lot of teams.
Yeah, our team played them early on in the season, and they've got so much grit. And I think especially making the tournament, like making the NCAAs, has kind of given them a boost of confidence, but not in the way that they're going to play with that confidence. They're still going to play as an underdog, and because they are the underdog, but I think they have a lot of fire. They are very disciplined when they were playing. They're consistent, and yeah, they've got a shot.
Well, they've got a few records. Obviously, their program, obviously, first time being in a national championship, but they also set a program record in wins. So, definitely a team to follow this in the tournament. They draw another hot team though in Stanford. I mean, Stanford kind of went through the gauntlet of the MPSF tournament, and if you're going to come out strong out of that one, it'd be hard to beat you in that first round. Unless, of course, they got worn out from all the fighting against Cal, UCLA. It was gnarly. So, but it should be a fun couple days to watch. I noticed in the selection show, the hostess said 5 rounds of volleyball. I'm like, what? Is there a play-in again? Because I only count 4 rounds unless I miss something. But it's 8 automatics, 8 at larges going at it. And again, we have the head-to-head matchup on screen, and that actually is one of the first matches of the day, first duels of the day. 11 a.m. start Eastern. That's 8 a.m. Pacific. So, what do you think here? How's it? When do you guys? Some of you are already there, right? Between Kylie or Marilu, you're not traveling yet, are you?
I am. We got in yesterday, so we got to practice today.
And Kylie's at 4 a.m. tomorrow.
Our flight's at 7, but we get there.
Well, I know you guys will be competing, but we'll be watching. Be sure to follow these two, and Sydney and I will be watching from a screen from home. So,
Yeah, we
uh,
will.
but we got Sydney Miller of Hawaii, got Kylie Wickley of Texas, and Marilu Pally of Cal. It's NCAA championship time. It's gonna be fun in Gulf Shores, and I'm gonna wish everyone on the screen good luck, except for Sydney. Will be good luck with your connection and your device you're watching from.
Luck, guys.
But
Thank
we'll be
you.
looking for your guys' social and posting and all that. Be sure to follow each and every one of the gals here that have been here all season. I know not all at the same time, so this is a big moment for me right here. One of the final episodes of the year, and I got them all on the screen. So,
Never too
ladies,
late.
best of luck. Looking forward to catching you next week, and I may be reaching out to you in tournament to get some insider info and get some social posts. So, thanks, ladies.
Thanks for listening to College Volleyball Weekly. Be sure to follow Rob Aspero at the Rob on the Mic on Instagram and at Rob on the Mic on Twitter.